Hello and welcome to my 517 Follow Friday series. Today I am joined by Dani Fairman and Ashley Smith from Oasis Realty. Dani and Ashley help their clients buy and sell homes. Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for inviting us.
So the real estate market has been pretty crazy the last couple of years. And I thought we would start with just how you guys are feeling the market is right now. Are we in a buyer's market, seller's market, nobody's market? What's going on?
It feels like nobody's market.
That's true. That's true.
It's definitely a seller's market. The sellers are getting top dollar for every house that they sell. I looked this morning and I think in the greater Lansing area active, we have like 400 houses for sale. I think that's worse than last year.
Yeah, very low inventory right now.
The inventory is so low. And so when people ask, what's the market doing? To me, I'm like, it's crashing. It's crashing. It's not the 2008, 2009 crash. It's this weird, nobody wants to sell anything, so we can't get people into houses, and so there's no movement.
Right.
It's sad.
Is it any specific type of inventory right now that is lacking? Because I know we're looking for something very specific. And when I go on like the Realtor app or Zillow, in our area, there's like one house and then that one's gone. And then maybe one more comes on a couple weeks later. It's like, there's just nothing in what we're looking for. But I know if I change the filters, there seems to be higher inventory in other areas. So
I would say that people are trying to move to larger homes. So you do see two-bed homes on the market sitting for a while or smaller square footage. But it's a lot of people trying to move up and move into bigger space that are really getting kept left out of the market because there's just not a lot of inventory in that.
Right.
And houses that are in great shape. I mean,
Okay.
there are 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses out there, right? But buyers right now are paying top dollar. So their expectation is that they want it to be move-in ready. And so
Right.
when things are staged and things look good and the home has been well maintained, they're going like this. They're getting 20, 30 offers, even in neighborhoods that 5 years ago weren't super desirable, but people moved in there in a low market and they invested in their home, and now they're getting that investment back. So anything that is well maintained is going like this.
Okay. And do you think that that's just because the way the market is right now, or are more people not wanting to have to invest more and do the fixer upper?
People don't have time for it anymore.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I think, generationally speaking, when we were, our grandparents were people that did everything for themselves unless it was something they absolutely couldn't do. Now we have groceries delivered and just, we don't even do our own grocery shopping, which is totally fine because we're busy doing other things. So, that going in, if there's a project that needs to be done, it's not about time, it's about money because you're going to probably pay somebody to do that. So yeah, I think just generationally speaking, we are in a time where people aren't interested in doing the work themselves because their lives are so full with other things.
Yep.
And people are working from home more too. So, I mean, I know most people have, migrated back to the office, but most people are hybrid. So they are spending more time at home. A lot more kids are being homeschooled. So they need that space up and ready to go. They don't have time to go, oh, I can remodel this into an office. No, it needs to be ready for me to put my desk in here and log in tomorrow.
Or doing remodeling while you're trying to work from home. You can even imagine that between your kids and your dog and then saws and drills going off in the background.
Yeah. I feel like you're describing my situation right now because we have a few little projects left that we want to do. And I want those to be done before we put the house on the market. But they've been pending since last fall, like little bits here and there. I even had some girlfriends come help start the project because I don't have time for it. I will pay someone to do it. And then I feel the same way about the houses on the market. Like you're right, Dani, there are houses out there in our criteria, but not in the condition that I'm willing to buy right now. So
Not at the
Um,
price that it's at.
no, and it's not feasible to build right now either. I was just talking to a builder the other day, and right now I guess the average is like 250 a square foot. And so for a house that's already on the market, already built, that's maybe 300,000, it's going to cost me 6 to build an equivalent house, and it's just not. And that I don't think is going to change. I think that um the lumber prices and the material prices might go down, but getting the people out to the job site, that's not going to go back down. People are not going to come out and do those parts of the job for less when the market changes. So do you guys have a preference? Do you prefer to work with buyers or sellers, or you'll just work with anybody?
I think that so strategically for business, everybody always tells you to look for sellers, but I actually really, so I love sellers. Don't get me wrong, but I really love buyers because you tend to build more of a relationship with them because you spend especially in a market like this, way more time with them. It's like they become family. You see them so much. It's weird when a transaction ends and you don't see them every day anymore.
Right. You're
Right.
like, best friend is going away.
Whereas with a seller, you typically see them when you're talking about listing their house, but then you want them to be away for everything. You're like, don't be at open
Right.
house, don't be at showings. I never want to see you. Whereas a buyer, you're with them all the time. So I feel like it's kind of cool that you build a relationship with them. But I think that both sides have great aspects and a lot of things that we love. So I don't have a preference, but I do feel like I build a little bit more of a relationship with buyers. Just
Yeah, I agree with that. I will say the one thing about sellers that I absolutely love is 8 times out of 10, I've helped them buy that house. And so to see them go on to the next journey, or now I'm coming back into the home and I'm seeing what you've done. I remember what it looked like when you bought it. And so, kind of closing that chapter with people I opened the book with.
Yeah.
It's really just, like but I guess there's that emotional connection that's been already established. I
Right.
agree. The emotional relationship building with buyers tends to happen at like your relationship is a little stronger than with the seller, but sellers, we still have opportunities to have great relationships with sellers. So I don't want to, devalue that relationship at all.
Right.
But I definitely think you do spend more time with buyers, especially in this market, because you list a house and it's sold in a week. So you're
Right.
not spending as much time with the seller. So
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, I would say, what do I prefer working with? I don't know. I mean, sellers, you're guaranteed a sale, right? But buyers have that relationship. So it kind of goes.
And I think about it now, talking about it, sellers, it's almost a little bit more emotional with them because their journey is either they're moving on from a house that they've spent a lot of time in, built memories in, or it's a hard one like divorce or their parents passed away. So you do kind of go on it's a different emotional journey with your sellers, but there is definitely a lot of working with them to try to make it as easy as possible because sometimes it's a roller coaster. Some people are very excited to sell, but it's still emotional because they're like, but I raised my babies here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel. We've been here for 16 years, I think, last month. And obviously, all of our kids were brought home from the hospital here. They've grown up here. It's the only house we've ever owned. So it will be bittersweet when we leave, but we also know that we need space and there are things that we want that aren't here. So it's kind of a little bit of both. But yeah, I imagine that is going to be an emotional roller coaster when it actually happens.
Yeah.
But take it from somebody. So I have moved many times, many times. And every time I feel like, oh, this is going to be so sad. How am I good? This is my home. Anywhere you go with your family or with your things that, represent who you are, that is your home. And you will make it that. If I moved into an apartment tomorrow, I would make it my home. I never would because I invest in real estate. But, I mean, like those things, it's great to see. So when the sellers do, leave and it's emotional, I always like to visit them later at their new place because you see them in a happier spot, like they're home now.
Right.
Mhm.
That's nice. Aw.
I know it's sad, right?
I
It
know.
is. It is. Well,
You know that
it's
real
here.
estate is so emotional, but it is. I mean,
It's incredibly emotional.
yeah,
I can't tell you how
Yeah.
many times I've cried with clients. I've celebrated with them.
yeah,
You know, I mean, especially in this market where you have to call them every week when they've put an offer on a house and
Yeah.
if it wasn't accepted because there were 30 other cash offers.
Yeah.
You know, you do get to a point where they feel defeated. You don't want to feel defeated, but you feel it. And so you're crying. And then you go, okay, I gotta get myself together and make that phone
Right.
call. I have to be the professional one in this.
yeah,
But it is emotional. You know, you build these relationships with people and you don't want to break their heart anymore.
yeah. I agree.
Cannot imagine how hard that is. Ugh.
Hardest part of the job.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Forget the finances and all the legal terms and contracts and
emotional.
stuff. It's the
Mhm.
emotional stuff.
Mhm.
We need therapy.
So what about service areas, whether it's buyer or seller? Do you guys stick to the Lansing area or how far out do you expand?
Well, for Danny and I, we focus mostly on the greater Lansing area, but here at Oasis Realty, we actually have several people that work all over the state. Sam
Okay.
is from the Cadillac area, so she likes to work up there and knows that area really well. We have Eric that has done properties all over the state also. Kirsten has done a lot of stuff in the Metro Detroit area. And Eric, like Kalamazoo area and so if it's
And anywhere in the state of
yeah,
Michigan.
anywhere in the state of
We're
Michigan.
licensed in the whole state. So
If it's not something that we're able to take on in our schedule, we have amazing agents that we work with on a daily basis that we can always work with to help our clients. So
Yep.
Okay.
we don't say no to anything in the state of Michigan.
good
Okay.
answer.
Mean to us.
Even that.
What about any what about anything special or unique? So do you have a special area of niche? Yeah, anything like that that we can share with the viewers?
You go first?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
So I think that one of the things that I really love is working with people that have pets. So I used to work for the animal shelter, still volunteer there. And that's really I think that people forget about pets when they're doing home buying, but your fur family is a huge part of your housing. So making sure that if you have a dog that needs a fenced in backyard, because adding a fence can sometimes be difficult. There are it's expensive in the cities. There are different ordinances for how tall a fence can be.
Mhm.
Things that you have to consider. If you have cats that want a bay window, I'm there to help you. Or need a place to hide. But also when selling, the pets are really huge, and I think that people forget. One, we're happy to work with you. You love pets, our sellers love pets, but the buyers may not. So we want
Right.
to very compassionately tell you your house smells like dog. And help you. We have a lot of different secrets and tricks to help with that, and that we are happy to do in listings, but also it can be very stressful for pets when you're selling
Yeah.
because if you aren't able to take them with you, they have strangers coming in and out of their house, dogs and
Mhm.
cats having strangers coming in. That's super stressful. So we want to
Right.
work with you to figure out the best options for your pets when you're listing your house. Can we try to get all the showings in one weekend so you and your pets can go somewhere or you can board them
Right.
for the weekend? Different things like that. So I think that animals are my niche is what I
Okay.
would
Right.
say.
I think that's interesting that you bring that up because I have a girlfriend who they sold their house just here in the neighborhood. I want to say it was within the last year. And I remember her talking about how they would have to pack into their car, the two of them, their toddler, their big dog, like big black lab, and two cats, and go to a park or something for every time they had a showing. And it was super stressful. And I think that sometimes that's the last thing that you think about and maybe you don't even think about it and the realtor needs to bring it up, and hopefully the realtor is taking it into consideration. So I think that that's really great that that's kind of a passion of yours to really address that when you're working with buyers and sellers.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, because to me, like my fur babies are my family. That's just the way that I was raised and the way that I've lived my life as like at the animal shelter and stuff.
As they should
Right.
be.
They
For
should be
everybody.
for everybody, but they're not for everybody. And that's the thing that
Right.
when you're selling your house. Like I had somebody offended that I wanted to take their cat food out of the listing photos, and I'm like, but not everybody likes cats.
Yeah,
We
that
have
makes
to,
sense.
we have to, when I tell you things that we need to do regarding your pet, it's not because I don't love pets. I absolutely do. You won't find anybody that loves them more, but I'm trying to help you sell your house as well.
Right.
And we have to remember that,
But I think that goes with any suggestions we make in the house,
Yeah.
People always ask, should I declutter? Should I take all these pictures off the wall?
Yeah.
Yes, declutter. You're gonna pack it anyway, so pack it
Yeah.
up, put it in a storage unit.
mhm.
And like pictures on the wall, I personally love to see your life pictures through the house.
Yeah.
Out of them, no. But I think if you sprinkle them on tables, it shows life, it shows love, it shows
Yeah.
memory, it shows you can have this is a home.
Right.
Um, as far as like big collages, maybe take it down a little bit,
Yeah.
Also,
Good to know.
but like, don't be offended when we say, let's move the
Right.
couch this way, because let me tell you, the way I live and the way I sell my house are very different looks, I mean,
Right.
we're coming in to sell your house. We're not coming in to tell you how to live in
We
it.
want people to be able to imagine their new life there. And
Yep.
if your new life isn't there, if your life isn't their life, it can be hard for them to
Yeah.
envision that. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your life. We're just trying to create a blank canvas for
Yeah.
people. And so yeah, we never want people to be offended. So we have to be very careful with that. Like, oh, hey, I know this is a grandmother's heirloom, but let's just put this under the sink for now.
Right.
Just for a minute. And it's not because we don't love grandmas.
Yeah.
Just what we're trying to help do. And
Right.
as Dani always says, the way you live versus the way you sell are completely different. And that doesn't mean the way that you live is not. So
Yeah, you can see my house, it's a freaking mess.
it's not.
But I'm
She
not
says
selling
that
it.
all the time, and it's not.
But I'm not selling it right now.
Right.
So it doesn't need to be show ready,
Yeah.
I don't live like that. That's not living. So back to the niche.
Yes.
So do I have one? Yes and no. Lately it's been divorced couples.
Okay.
So it goes in waves, I think, like you get like a clump of different types, right? Lately it's been people who are going through divorce, unfortunately. But I gotta say, I feel like I've perfected that navigation. Because I've had people that get along and I've had people that will not sit in the same room with each other. So, and that always adds another layer of doing the job. But I love the puzzle. So let's do this and let's get you guys into a happier place,
Yeah.
But definitely, I think that my reputation would be murder houses, which honestly, I don't even know if I've sold any murder houses, but because I've done the podcast,
Right.
I do have this weird fascination with history of homes. I'll say that. So like if somebody is buying one that was like built in the 1900s, you better believe I'm doing my research. Who's died in what's happened there? Have the police been called? I always look at that stuff and I look to see because Livingston area is full of rich history. And honestly, legally, we are not to disclose.
We're not required to disclose if somebody's been murdered in the house unless it impacts the marketing of the house. So if it's not known, like well known, we don't have to tell you.
Right.
I've
shown a lot of murder houses though.
I was gonna say, if I walk into a house and I feel like it's super creepy, this happened at a house in Leslie. The first thing I did when I left was I was like, Dani, research this house. I'm positive it's haunted.
Do you just walk in, Danny? Do you just walk in and you just feel it? Can you just feel?
That's funny because I think that that implies that I have like this sixth sense, and I don't think that I do.
Okay.
But I will say I have been creeped out in one house.
Have I heard this?
I don't know. There have been houses I've been in where I've known that murders have happened, and like recently that family is selling it. But there was one house I walked into, it had been completely flipped. It was gorgeous. There was nothing in the home, they didn't stage it. It was a very old house though. And then sitting on the front bay window was like the Virgin Mary statue. Just that was the only thing in the house. And I thought, why are you here? And it just kind of gave me the heebies.
Yeah.
But I had that before even walking through the home. And I think that like that might have been some protection maybe for the seller, which I fully support. But I had just felt it just in the house. There was just like the energy didn't feel good. But do I tell my buyer that? No, because that's not my energy to share. Like that's
Right.
you know. If we see weird things, like I've been in a house where they must have really been into Halloween, and they had mannequins in their storage unit, and they were covered in blood, fake blood, I'm guessing. And my buyer was like, "I can't live here." Like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, "Well, those aren't stains."
Right. And I do think like when you're showing houses, like they're especially at night, I feel like your buyers will be like, "Oh my gosh, doesn't this place feel haunted?" Even when I was buying a house, I remember being in this house and I was like, "This feels haunted." And the buyer's agent, my buyer's agent was like, "It does kind of feel like somebody's watching you in here, doesn't it?" I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna go now."
Yeah,
this is not one for me.
Right. If the buyer has that feeling and they're not into
Right.
it.
I feel like there is like the nighttime and like sometimes people will have like weird antique dolls or something and they'll just be like, I'm getting vibes, and it's the house isn't haunted necessarily.
Yeah.
We don't know, but I feel like there are certain times of day and some decor. Again, things to listen to Danny and I, and if we say move Grandma's doll from 1900 out of the rocking chair in the corner, because when people flip that light on, they're going to pee themselves and leave.
Right.
It's nothing against Grandma's antique doll and rocking chair.
That's really funny.
It can be.
I've shown houses where in the basement they had like the tall like Grim Reaper for Halloween, and I turn a corner and it's standing there like this.
I've jumped a few times in houses, like, oh my gosh.
Right. And I like usually leave a note to the seller. I'm like, kudos, you got me good. You know, I mean, that's amazing.
I have had one listing, somebody asked if it was haunted. It was an old schoolhouse, and they were like, "Can you tell us if it's haunted?" And I'm just like, I mean,
that's subjective.
That's subjective.
Yeah.
We had ghost hunters out here to like, and even if they did find something, like
it's subjective.
It's subjective. Right. I don't know what that is, but yeah,
unless,
I mean, it's
so
weird.
unless you market your home as like, let's say I was using the house as a business and I was marketing it as a haunted place, and I was like hosting tours and all that stuff.
Yep.
And then I go to sell it, and then somebody buys it and they go, wait, everybody knows I bought the haunted house.
Yep.
That might be a little muddy, but
yeah.
Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that there was a case from law school that I had to read that was about that. So
in New York.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
haunted houses, rich history, that's fun.
Okay.
Talk to you about
it. You've mentioned a couple things so far about staging, and then there was a comment about flipping houses. So I'm just curious. I feel like this is a common question. I've asked this question before. What are some of the things that people should consider fixing up or like taking things off the wall, and what are things to just not worry about?
Okay, so taking down decor. Any so since we're in the state of Michigan, I always tell people if you have Michigan State stuff, you might want to take it down.
Political
items, take it down. And religious items you might want to take down. And I know that all of that stinks and it makes you feel like, oh, this is not my, I'm trying to be authentic and selling my home. I
Yeah.
respect that 100%, but you're not buying your home.
And
Right.
also, something that our clients probably aren't aware of that Dani and I do a lot of training on, and all agents should be doing a lot of training on, is fair housing. And there are some protected classes like religion. So you can't discriminate against somebody buying your house because they're not a religion that you
Right.
are. So when we are, encouraging these things, or when we won't pass on love letters, everybody gets this idea. I'll send a love letter that says, I want to buy this house with
Thank
my
you,
family.
HGTV.
Yeah, that my family and my kids and we're, all these things about my personal life, we are not going to send that on because it's a violation of fair housing. And it could be, if our clients pick a buyer based on their familial status or other things, that can be a discrimination lawsuit. So
Yep.
we're not trying to be mean when we say, please take down religious items. We totally want people to feel comfortable to practice their faith.
Right.
But there are laws that we're trying to help keep you from getting in trouble as well. And
Yeah.
also market your home at the same time.
Right.
So
Right.
It's a good point. Okay.
And then staging. So, when I'm walking through a house, I always tell them, imagine 3 people swifting through this space. Are we scooting around furniture? If so, we need to rearrange it or remove something. Nobody should shimmy around anything.
Yeah.
People feel like they have the space. So you imagine a couple and their agent walking through the space. And if we feel tight in there, it's just not going to happen.
I think you want furniture in there. My philosophy is to
absolutely.
show how things can fit in the space, but you don't want it to feel overcrowded. So a bed in your bedroom to show, hey, a king size bed does fit in here. Awesome. A bed and 7 dressers crammed around the edges. That's going to make the room feel very small, and people are going to be like, oh, my stuff's not going to fit in here. A table in your kitchen to show that the eat-in kitchen can fit a table. Cool.
Yep.
A table, 3 baker's racks, and a portable island.
Yep.
Going to be too much. So
Too
you want
much.
to show the space and what can fit in the space, but not jam it.
It's
packed.
about showcasing the space.
Yeah.
Really.
Right. That's great. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to share today?
So we just launched our new company.
Yeah,
Yes.
we did.
So at the
Should we bring
beginning of
Kelly
the
out?
video, sure, if she wants to.
Kelly,
say
are
hi.
your camera ready?
Do you want to come say hi?
We're recording a video.
You're recording a video.
A marketing video.
And we're announcing
So
our...
this is Kelly Garrett.
So the 3 of us have opened Oasis Realty. So we are co-owners.
Yes, Kelly is our principal broker here.
Yes.
So she's the one making sure that we all stay in line. And we hope to bring a lot of experience and excellence in the real estate industry to our clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything to add, Kelly?
We just, we're a boutique brokerage, and we're, a place where maybe some other agents who don't quite feel at home in their brokerage or don't want to pay exorbitant fees, they might find this to be a great home for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Their Oasis.
Yes.
All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will share all of the contact information in the caption of the video. If anybody watching this video is looking to buy or sell sometime soon, reach out and they will get started with you. If you're interested in being featured on my 517 Follow Friday series, you can send me an email at katrina@cornerstonelegalplc.com. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you.